Recording. Okay. Good evening. Warm welcome to all of you. We are on chapter 18. This is the Gita wisdom session. The title is The Perfection of Renunciation. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. We are on the last part of this chapter. We will cover verses 67 to 78. The acronym of this chapter is SMILE. And what is SMILE? We will see going forward. I will start by offering obeisances to my Guru Maharaj. I seek his blessings as I make an attempt to speak a few words on these important verses. I pay obeisances to my Shiksha Guru, Gaur Vilas Prabhuji. I must say Dandvat Pranam. And I also seek all your blessings because it is devotee's blessing which will enable me to speak a few words on this chapter and these verses. Let us start with our prayers. We always have to keep Krishna in mind. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Yes.
Now, as we begin, I have something to share. Not very positive news. It is, we had a student called Rekha who joined a few classes, and unfortunately, Krishna called her very early. She was hardly 55 years, and last Sunday, she breached her last. And we will just say our prayers that her soul should reach back to Krishna. Yes, whenever we pass away, it's only the body which dies. The verse here very clearly says, the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. If I were to say, she was blessed by Krishna in terms of academic brilliance and intelligence. She was a CA, first attempt. She was an ICWA. She was a CFA, first attempt, and company secretary. She was a brilliant lady that you could ever come across. She worked for ICICI Bank. And her journey into Gita was baby step, very hesitating. Oh, I will not understand Prabhuji. But then slowly she got into that and started liking it. But then her health did not permit, or else she would have also been part of the class today. With this salutations and obeisances to our dear friend, let me start the class today. The acronym of this chapter is SMILE, and we'll quickly go through what SMILE stands for. S is summary of Karma Yoga. Arjuna starts the chapter by asking, oh Krishna, can you please tell me what is the difference between Tyaga and Sannyasa? So Krishna presents various views from various scriptures, and then he says, oh Arjuna, this is my final opinion. And what is his final opinion? He says, Sannyasa, which actually means renunciation of action, giving up all actions. That, he says, is not cup of tea for most of us. You could be in any dharma, brahmachari, sannyasa, gruhastha, shudra, brahmana. It is not going to be easy for you because soul, from the moment it is born, it is active. The only thing which is constant and common to all living entities is action. So he says, Arjuna, please do not even think of renunciation of action. It is not for you. Then he says Tyaga. Even though many scriptures says Tyaga also gives up action to a large extent, Krishna says, no, my definition of Tyaga is you only need to renounce the fruits of action. Whatever you do, you leave the fruits to me. And he says there are three things you must do in your life, and it applies to all of us. And what are those? Charity. You must give whenever you can. Austerity. Perform austerity. It could be Ekadashi, it could be any fasting you want to do for the Lord. And penance. They have to be performed as a matter of duty with no attachment. This is this clear definition of what is Tyaga. Then we came to M. In M, we did two parts. First is Yoga Ladder, and then Modes of Nature. What is Yoga Ladder? He teaches us that there are two contributors to action. Any action that you do. So whenever we win or lose, we should not really blame ourselves after going through Gita. And what does Krishna say? He says there are three motivators of action. One is Gnana, that is knowledge. Second is Gneya, object of knowledge. And Parignata, knower. So this is not the end of it. There are three other factors behind every action. Three constituents of action. What are those? The action itself, it could be eating, walking, sleeping, drinking, whatever we do. That action comes out of what? It comes out of karnam. It comes out of using our instruments of work, mind, intelligence, senses. So they play an important role. That is why skill plays an important part. Why is Sachin Tendulkar a genius? Because his skill levels are at the highest evolved level. Karta. So all of us are kartas. So whenever we perform, this is what we should remember. And that is why Krishna says, perform the action, do not expect the results, because you're only 1/6 of your role is only 1/6 of every action. And what is the root cause of any action? We eat because we are hungry. We walk because we want to exercise. So it comes out of desire. So this is how we must understand. And this is a great lesson for all of us that, going forward, I will show you a video where even an Olympic bronze medalist says, you have to do your karma and do not expect the results. Most important takeaway for us. Then comes modes of nature. Krishna says, he gives us 6 important topic. Knowledge, gnanam. We'll all be wondering, why is Krishna talking about knowledge? We are engineers, we are doctors, lawyers, so we have enough and more of knowledge. Why is Krishna trying to give us knowledge? What Krishna is giving us is not material knowledge. He's talking to us about spiritual knowledge. And Albert Einstein had this to say about spiritual knowledge. He says, let's not keep science isolated. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. So religion and science do not mean they are different cups of tea. They go together. Religion and science don't have to oppose each other. Today, there are many people who talk, senselessly, saying that, oh, I'm a scientific student, so I will not believe in all these rituals. That's a very, very narrow-minded view of knowledge. And Krishna says, remember, your knowledge too is under the influence of 3 modes. Action. For all, the whole lifetime, we are involved in action because we want to achieve what? Happiness. Krishna says, your action, we as the doer of that action, performer, karta, whatever intelligence we do use to perform the karma, buddhi, determination, dhruti, and we are all doing this for happiness. He says, Kukam. All these 6 are under the influence of the modes of nature. Please understand. You may be wondering, oh, why is Krishna saying that? Now, Sukam. If you smoke, you will get happiness for 5 minutes. If you drink, you will get happiness for a half a day or 8 hours. Is that what you are looking for? After that, you start regretting why I smoked and why I drank. So, Krishna says, please understand and choose what kind of happiness you will pursue. Make an action to be in the mode of goodness. Don't try to get into mode of passion and mode of ignorance. That is the message that Krishna tells us in this. Then we come to I. What is I? It is ideal worker. So he says, Varnashrama Dharma. He describes to us what is Varnashrama Dharma. We all know this. There are 4 Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and there are 4 ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. So this is all known knowledge. What is most important to understand is your Varna is not based on caste. Caste is something which has come up in the later part of our evolution, and people blame Varnashrama for all our woes. In fact, I have put this cutting here. Even the Supreme Court made a reference to this just last week. And it says, primitive India had no caste system. Varna system was misinterpreted. Supreme Court Judge Mittal. So this is what should be our awareness and knowledge. Let's not blame our past for whatever caste system that you see today. Caste is something which was created in between by misinterpreting the scriptures. Then we come to love of God. In this section, Krishna talks about most confidential knowledge. And what is that? He shows us this step-by-step evolution. You can do Karma Yoga, you can go to Gnana Yoga, you can do Bhakti Yoga where you qualify for devotional service, and real Bhakti Yoga, when you surrender to the Lord, you realize Bhagavan. Now, you may be wondering, what is the difference between these three yogas? I have tried to simplify it. So, Karma to Gnana is gradual process. And what is Karma Yoga? Whatever we are doing in our life is Karma Yoga. Varnashrama, follow your Swadharma, Swakarma. That is Karma Yoga, nothing else. Whatever we do it with a honorable intention. And what is the investment for this? Try to be restrained, regulate your desires, and generally it is a mood of renouncement. Do not expect action results of your action. That is Karma Yoga. Then comes Gnana Yoga. Gnana Yoga is quite, it's not an easy cup of tea for all. Here, Krishna describes 18 qualities to achieve the Brahmabhuta stage. That is Gnana Yoga. You'll have to control your mind and senses. If you say follow 4 regulative principles, no drinking, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, that itself is a big challenge for most of us. And Krishna is saying that, you should be controlling 18 things if you have to be a Gnana Yogi. And what is the mood here? It is detachment. So renouncement to detachment, that is the journey of Karma Yoga to Gnana Yoga. Then comes Bhakti Yoga. Here, this is a shortcut where after you reach the Brahmabhuta stage, that is if you are able to follow all the path that Krishna has defined, 18 qualities to imbibe in us, then he says you qualify for Bhakti Yoga. He says, Mad Bhaktim Lavate Param. But this is just the initial step. Bhakti Yoga, when he describes to us between 18.56 to 66, you realize Bhagwan. And what is the advantage of this? This is simple, faster. You don't have to remember any formulas. You don't have to go to the forest. You don't have to do any meditation. You just have to surrender. And that is called the mood of devotion. And what is the price that Krishna tells? He says, if you are able to do this, if you can remember me, if you say you can surrender into me, he says, I will protect you. That is the essence of Bhakti Yoga. So if we can adopt, imbibe, embed this principle of surrender to Krishna, which we will again be talking going forward, we would be going very close to Krishna. And today we will be doing the last section, verses 67 to 68, end result. What is the essence of all these 700 verses that Krishna has talked about? You have to realize the glory of Bhagavad Gita. And there are two people who talk to us about what is their realization. That is Arjuna and Sanjaya. That brings us to the end of Gita today. Now, before I actually go into this first verse, I also must share some things. Like, I must thank from the bottom of my heart, Ramesh, who has attended all the 38 months classes. So we had 38 classes from 21st June 2021 to today. And he has joined every class without fail. Special thanks to you. And then all of you, in whatever, no, you may have attended few, you may have attended many, but I must personally thank you. This journey was possible only because of you. So all the credit goes to you. And we will also share the last section is very interesting because Krishna says, what is the learning of Gita? You can read Gita, you can listen to Gita, then you can preach Gita. All the three are dear to Krishna. So with this message, we come to the last section of the chapter, E, end result. What did we end the last class with? This is the most important one. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami ma suchaha. Krishna says, I am now giving you an escalator. You don't have to climb the steps. He says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. And imagine how empathetic Krishna is. Arjuna had this great doubt. Why did he say, what is the difference between Tyaga, Sannyasa? Why did he want to go to the forest? Because he did not want to fight this gory war. He did not want to see the bloodshed. So he was worried. If I fight this war, if I kill my relatives for a piece of land, I will incur sinful reactions. Krishna is saying, don't worry, Arjuna. If you surrender unto me, I will take you above all sinful reactions. That is the essence. And that is the power of surrendering to Krishna. And now when he says Sarva Dharma Parityajya, what does it mean? He says, I have taught you Karma Yoga. I have taught you Varnashrama. I have taught you Swakarma. I have taught you Gnana Yoga. I have taught you Dhyana Yoga. I have taught you what is the difference between demigod worship and worshipping Krishna. All these are various paths which will bring you to me. And you have to necessarily do whatever it takes to reach. Here, I am giving you one line formula, that is surrender. If you can submit yourself to me, I will take care of you. And the nice formula for this is ATC. What is ATC? Admit your weakness to Krishna. Let's not be shy. When we talk to Krishna, Krishna knows we are conditioned souls. We will have anger, we will have jealousy, we will have envy, everything. We will do some things which are not supposed to be done. It's fine. Krishna has never said sin should not be performed. What is important is be aware that I'm making a mistake and try to admit, confess, and say that, oh Krishna, please help me to come out of this mistake. B, you make your own efforts, try your best to overcome. C, cry to Krishna for mercy. And that you can do only if you are able to take away your ego. However big you are in this material world, you are just a speck of dust at the lotus feet of Krishna. And that is what we have to realize. And in fact, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Path says very beautifully. And for the scientific minded devotees in the audience today, I used Copilot, which is the latest tool, the AI tool, to design this jewel box. And it came to me, I could say, now imagine this is the jewel box. At the top is Gnana Yoga. At the bottom is Karma Yoga. And in between is Bhakti Yoga. This is how the treasure test is. And there are two verses, 18.65 and 18.66. They are the jewels which attract you to open this treasure chest. And if you open that treasure chest, you will go through all the 700 verses and you will get benefit of how you can live in this world successfully, happily. All of us are pursuing happiness. All of us are pursuing success. And Krishna says you can achieve both by just going through my message and trying to live what I have taught. This is how it is. Gnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. 18.65, 18.66. Let's start the first verse of the day. Idam te na tapaskaya, na bhaktaya kadachana, na chashashrusave vachyam, na chamam yo abhyashuyati. Now, Krishna is also giving us the Falashruti. He says, Gita is not to be shared with everyone. And he makes a clear definition of whom it should be shared with, whom it should not be shared with. In this verse, he's saying, translation. He says, oh Arjuna, this confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. So we must be cautious. We should not talk about Gita to an atheist because he doesn't believe in God. It's waste of time, waste of his time, waste of our time. So this is something which we should all remember and follow. Idam. Idam means this knowledge of pure devotion. What is Gita? It is nothing but devotional service. How do you devote yourself in the service of Krishna? Atapaskaya. So if you are not austere, if you are not sense controlled, Krishna says, do not talk to this kind of a person on Gita. Second, there are 4 qualities which he mentions. Abhaktaya. He has no devotion. He has no love for the Lord. He is an atheist. So to such people, he says, Kadachana, never ever talk about Gita. Unwilling to hear not engaged in obedient service, no humility. Don't talk to them. Abhyasuyati, envious of me, who finds faults where there are no faults, trying to split the hair. No, never try to talk to these people about Gita. Who can receive just the opposite of that? One who is devoted, one who is non-envious, one who is friend, and one who has self-control. Now you may be wondering, oh well, how do I understand this? Now I'm going to show you this video. I'm sure most of you may have seen this. This is
Right. Yeah.
latest. Sorry.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So Manu Bhaker is an Indian Olympian who has won bronze medal. She is at the top of the world. And you see what she has to say about Gita. And let's see Ratna Pathak. She is a famous Bollywood actress. Now, if that's why it is said, empty vessels make more noise. Let's listen.
कि अर्जुन की आंख सब लोग बोलते हैं कि एक ही लक्ष्य होना चाहिए और उसी लक्ष्य पे ध्यान होना चाहिए और इतना फोकस होना चाहिए, मगर अर्जुन ने कितना कुछ मिस आउट कर दिया फोकस करने में। पूरी दुनिया जो इतना सुंदर जंगल था उसके आसपास, वो तो देखा ही। जो लोग थे उसके साथ भी कुछ नहीं उनका जम पाया। वो क्या हुआ कि वो एक लक्ष्य को फॉलो करने में आप जो इतना सब कुछ खो देते हैं, was it worth it finally for Arjun?
Manu, just take us through the final few moments and final few shots. What was going on in your mind?
Honestly, I read a lot of Gita and all, so what was going through my mind is just do what you are meant to do, do what you are supposed to do, and just leave whatever. The destiny, you can't control the outcome of it. So in Gita, Krishna says to Arjun that, you focus on your karma and not on the outcome of the karma. So only that was running in my head. I was like, okay, just do your thing, and let it all be.
So, what do we understand? If you are envious, you talk like this. Now, Ratna Pathak is a gifted actress. She has intelligence. But what she doesn't realize is her intelligence, who has created that intelligence? She's trying to, torch gives you light. Whenever there is a dark area, you hold a torch. But if you try to hold the torch and shine it on the sun, it only shows your foolishness. Similarly, there are many people who try to use their material intelligence, comment on Gita's eternal wisdom. And that is why Krishna says, do not try to talk to these people on Gita's wisdom. Look at Manu Bhaker. She is as successful as you can get, but she is so humble. And she says, I know it is not me who is fully responsible for my success. So this is what is required. Devotion and the mood of surrender. Only then Krishna will come to you.
कि अर्जुन की
Let's go to the next verse. Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshva abhidhashyati bhaktim mayi param krutva mam evaishyati asamshayaha. Benefits of teaching Bhagavad Gita. Now comes the most important word for all of us. Krishna is giving us this message in this verse. You can teach, you can listen, you can read. All the three are important to Krishna. Translation. He says, for one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. Now, what more clarity you need? Because this is the Palashruti. All of us will say, after having read 690 verses, oh Krishna, what is in it for me? Krishna says, please understand, you have three options. And now, first is talking about teaching Gita. What is the advantage? Ya is whoever. Idam paramham guhyam explains the top secret knowledge of Gita. Mad bhakteshu abhidhashyati. You are explaining, you're sharing to my devotees. If we are going to do this, he says, bhaktim mayi param krutva. You will attain pure devotional service unto me. You need Krishna's mercy, and he says, I will give you my mercy. Mame vaishyati asamshayaha. Do not have any doubts that you will come back to me. That is the essence and power of Gita. So when you engage yourself, like all of us will study in the next verse, next to next verse, listening. So listening is also worship of Krishna. Reading is worship of Krishna. Talking about Gita to his devotees is worship of Krishna. And Krishna is making it very clear that there is no one who is more dear to me than this. And when you preach, we must keep in mind that we are not preaching for popularity. We are not preaching for how many people are there, how many people were there in this crowd. No. Krishna says, whenever you preach my message, you are doing it for purity, purity of the listener, purity of the teacher. That's the essence. So we must spend whatever little time we have on hand to hear about Krishna's teaching. And he has already said this earlier in 18.54. He says, if you are able to do what I am telling you, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati Tama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Says, if one who is thus transcendently situated, is you come to Brahma Bhuta stage, you realize the Supreme Brahman and you become fully joyful. He never laments or desires. So after reading Gita, we must understand two important words. Na sochati, na kankshati. If you can write it down, write it down. If you have a good memory, memorize it. That is, don't desire. Sochati is desire, kankshati is lament. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So you can achieve Krishna by reading Gita, by preaching Gita. And he had already told that whoever follows my advice of don't lament or desire, na sochati, na kankshati, you will achieve eternal joy. So all of us are working for what? Happiness and joy in our lives. And both are bestowed upon us by spending time on Gita, which we are all doing today. And we have done successfully for the last 3 years. Now comes benefits of teaching Bhagavad Gita. न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन्मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्मात् अन्य प्रियतरो भुवि. Now he's giving you the extent of Krishna's mercy and joy whenever he finds person engaged in this. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So you don't have to spend a life of no, we all see our Guru Maharaj, the whole life they have spent in purifying themselves. They give us initiation, they preach to us, and through a guru, you can reach mukti and moksha. The guru will take you back to Krishna. So that is one path. There is another path. You just listen to Gita through a parampara and listen to it with devotion carefully, then also you will go back to Krishna. So this is the faster way of doing it, shortcut way of doing it, easier way of doing it. It doesn't require any extensive, it's not like trying to read E is equal to mc squared, theory of relativity. By the time you understand what is theory of relativity, you may have taken a few years. This is simple. Open the verse, read it, and understand, okay, oh Krishna, I just want to understand the essence. Na sochati, na kankshati. I will not desire, I will not lament. So this is the beauty of Gita. Nacha tasman manusyeshu. He's saying among all human beings who preaches Gita. And please understand, Krishna has never said who you should be, what you should, what should you bring by your birth. Whether you're a Brahmana, whether you're a Shudra, you're a Muslim, you're a Krishna, it doesn't, a Muslim or a Christ or a Christian, it doesn't matter. All that you need to do is you should be a human being. That's it. And engage yourself in worshipping Krishna through Gita. Question. Emphatically he's saying, there is no one me priyakruttamaha who does a dearer service to me. So if you were to choose, oh, well, I have got 10 things to do, which one I will do? Krishna is not giving us that difficult choice-making task. He's just saying, just do one thing, read and teach Gita. You will come back to me. Bhavita, even in the future, nacha me tasmat, nor in the past, Anya, anyone else, Priyataro, who is more dear to me, Bhuvi, in this world. So in this Kali Yuga, in this birth, whatever we are, however sinful actions we may do, we have a solution given to us by Krishna. Let's go further. Adhyeshyate cha yamam dharmyam samvadam avayuho ज्ञानगज्ञेन तेनाहम istasyam iti me mati. Iti me mati is, this is my opinion. Now comes benefits of studying Bhagavad Gita. Every day, if you can read one verse, one sloka, you have done justice. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. We all will be wondering, what is this service that Krishna talks about always? Now he has given us 3 levels of service we can do. Read, listen, teach. If you read, if you listen, you can teach. So you decide what's your choice. But everything is in this Gita book of 700 verses. Adhyeshyate, systematically. Don't be in a hurry. Read, listen. Jaya Imam. Anyone who studies this knowledge, Dharmyam Samvadam. What is this Gita all about? This is a conversation about dharma. People talk a lot about morality. You will find all the answers to your difficult doubts by reading this. Because Krishna says, there is, whenever you have a doubt on morality, look at the higher principle. And then you can decide. And what is the higher principle? In most cases, do it for Krishna. Avayoho means between us. Gnana yagnena means worship by fire of knowledge. So whenever we do an yajna, what we do, we offer ghee as oblation. So he's saying, whenever you read Gita, you are giving me as oblation in the fire of worship your knowledge. Tena, by that person, aham, you are worshipping me. Ista, such a person is pujita, adored. Worship me, Syam, shall be, iti me mati. This is my opinion. Now, these are all simple verses. Without any confusion, we can understand. He says, I declare that he who studies the sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. So, one way of serving Krishna in this world, in whatever we do, whatever level of life we are, is to read and teach Gita. And Krishna has said in 4.33, he says, of all the yajnas that is performed, he says, O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge, that is Gnana Yajna Parantapa. So Gnana Yajna, whatever we see, we can do so many yajnas. But Krishna is saying, you don't have to have a yajna kunda, you don't have to call any panditji, you don't have to have a fire, you don't have to have all the paraphernalia for performing an yajna. All you need is keep Gita in front of you. Don't keep it safely away, tucked in a cupboard. Keep it in front of you, open it and read it. What is the best place of keeping Gita? Keep it under your pillow. That is the safest place for Gita to be in. Whenever you have a doubt, you can refer to Gita. What I mean is, keep it near to you. Do not keep it so safely that you never open it throughout your life. And he says, this yajna is more better than the mere sacrifice of all material possessions. Whatever yajna you do, it could be Shreya yajna, Dravya yajna, Maya yajna, nothing else will come close to Gnana yajna. That is the essence of reading Gita. Going further, now comes listening to Gita. What did Rekha do? Rekha listened to Gita. What did I do when I have to learn Gita? I listen to Gita. And now what you are all doing, you are listening to Gita. And Krishna says, you are all dear to me, and not only dear to me. And now you please understand what is that we get by investing this 1 hour. Shraddhavan anusuyascha truniyadapi yo naraha toapi mukta subhal lokan tapnuyat punya karmanam. Whatever benefit you get by performing pious activities, you will get by just listening to Gita. So what did Rekha achieve in her life? Let us see the translation and connect. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions. Now, I am not saying this. I am not interpreting this. This is in the shloka as it is, and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So Rika left us. Where is she heading? She is heading to auspicious planet. All that sinful reactions, whatever, all of us perform millions of sins throughout our lifetime. Krishna says, I will take care of all of them. So this is the benefit of listening, hearing to Gita. So every journey of learning starts with listening. So that is the importance of listening. You cannot achieve mastery over any subject without listening. And please, all of you are doing an excellent thing by listening to Gita. And that is what I have done. Shraddhavan. So when you listen, listen with faith. Do not worry whether you understand it. Can you quote the sloka? Can you pronounce the Sanskrit sloka properly? Oh, I don't understand Sanskrit, so I don't understand the meaning behind it. It doesn't matter. Krishna is saying, listen with faith. Anasuyascha, without envy. Don't try to find fault, like what we saw in the earlier video. He's trying to tell us that Arjuna was focusing on the fish or, hitting the target, and he ignored everything. That shows empty vessels make more noise. Trunyad, just here, even if you don't understand, most of us, many a times, don't understand most of what we talk, what we discuss. Doesn't matter. What matters is your attitude. You are eager to learn, and the learning will be mercy of Krishna. It will dawn on you as you progress in life. Apiyo naraha, whoever be the person, this is constant. It has got nothing to choose between I am tall, you are not tall, you are rich, I am not rich, I am poor. Krishna doesn't want any of this classifications, qualifications to come in between. So api, even for such a student who is not understanding Gita, mukta, he is freed from sinful reactions. What did Rekha say when she came to the first class? She said, I don't understand anything, Prabhuji. I am not cut out for Gita. I said, it doesn't matter, Rekha. You please just make the attempt, effort to sit in a place, connect, and listen. And I may tell this to 10 people, only one or two people will listen, and one of them was Rekha. And imagine all of us as devotees, we are elders to her, we are blessing her today that you must go back to Krishna. That is what happens when you get into the association of devotees to listen to Gita. And what is the benefit of that? Mukta, freed from all sinful reactions. Subha Lokan, you are going back to the auspicious planets. Prapnuyat, they will attain the abode. Punya Karmanam, where pious people live. And imagine how difficult it is to get into those upper planets. We have studied in the earlier verses. Now, Krishna is saying, just by offering your worship to me, by listening to Gita, you will come back to me. So, quick summary, he says, one who studies in 18.70, you are worshipping me by intelligence. And all of us are blessed with intelligence. Why don't we use that intelligence in the service of Krishna? You're offering whatever is given to us back to him. That is the journey of life. And that is the journey of getting liberation. One who listens with faith. Whatever you do it with faith. What happens? Free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planet. So we may not know the spelling of mukti, we may not know the spelling of moksha, we may not know what is liberation, but we have achieved that by just an innocent act of hearing to Gita. Now comes realizations of Arjuna. Now we must put ourselves in the place of Arjuna because we are all Arjunas as far as Krishna is concerned. Every Jivatma in this world is Arjuna. For Krishna, there is no love lost between you, me, him. All of us are equal. So if Arjuna can realize this, we must also try to realize this. And I will tell you what is the formula for realization going forward. Just follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. He is giving us an example. Katchid eta shrutam partha vayaikagrena chetasa. Katchid agnana sammoha pranastaste dhananjaya. He says, now Krishna is a teacher. He's asking Arjuna, have you understood? Have you listened to whatever I have taught you? He says, O son of Pruta, Oh, conqueror of wealth. This is the first time he is using two names for Arjuna. Have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So one common factor is, like Arjuna, all of us have ignorance, all of us have illusion. That is not a problem. That is a common factor. All of us are equal. Krishna says, after hearing to this, has that been dispelled? And then Arjuna answers. Let's see what is the line by line understanding. Kachit Veda Eta Shrutam. O Partha, have you heard this carefully? Now, why is Krishna asking this question? Because he has converted a war into a war field or a battlefield into a classroom. Imagine we are today sitting in a nice room, we have nice fan, we have Zoom connection, we have a nice headset, and we are listening in peace. Arjuna did not have this luxury. Arjuna was on the battlefield, and there were millions of people in front of him to attack him, and he was trying to defend himself, attack himself. In that environment of hostility, Krishna gave this eternal knowledge to him. So he's concerned. Oh, Partha, have you heard this? Does this noise prevent you from listening to me carefully? Vayayikagrena chetasa. I will listen to me with full concentration and attention. Chid ajnana sammoha. Have you understood? The proof of understanding is as your illusion and ignorance reduced, if not eliminated. Pranastate, dispelled, Dhananjaya, O conqueror of wealth. How concerned teacher is Krishna? He knows this is not the best of classrooms. He knows Arjuna may have problem in listening, problem in understanding. And he's saying, if you are able to tell me, sorry, I have not understood something, I don't mind teaching you the entire Gita once again. Let's go through the sequence. What is Krishna saying? Have you listened carefully? Have you understood? Has your ignorance gone? Has your delusion gone? Has your sorrow gone? Why was Krishna asking this? Because Arjuna was very sad. In the first chapter, he put down his bow and arrow and said, I will not fight because I don't want to face this misery. I want to avoid this bloodshed. I will not fight with my own relatives. And he was extremely grief stricken. So Krishna is now asking, have you understood, O Arjuna? Has your sorrow gone? And this is the only verse where he addresses Arjuna as Partha and Dhananjaya. So this is the same question that Krishna is asking all of us. So we must honestly tell him, oh Krishna, I have understood it to some extent. I will make attempts to learn further and improve my understanding. Going further, now comes the realization of Arjuna. Now Arjuna is answering Krishna. He says, Arjuna uvacha nastu moha smrutir labdha tvat prasadan mayachyuta titosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. If there is na sochati, na kankshati, two important words which I requested all of you to write down. There is another three most important words to memorize and write down. Karishye vachanam tava. We must just do the will of the Lord. That's it. That is surrender. You don't worry whether this is, no, I will incur sin. Is it right? Is it wrong? Morality. All these questions are not for us. If you are doing it with Krishna in the center, I'm sure you will be doing it for the good of Dharma. You will protect Dharma and you will not kill Dharma. Translation. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, oh infallible one, I have marked this word Achyuta. Every word in Gita has its own weight. He could have called Krishna by any name. He could have called him Keshava. He did not call him. He called him Achyuta because Achyuta means infallible one. When Krishna says something, that is the end of it. If he says, I promise you, Arjuna, it's a promise for eternity. Never will it change. It will not reduce in intensity or disappear. That is the beauty of Krishna's word. Why we should surrender to Krishna? Because he is Achyuta, infallible one. He says, Tvat prasadan maya achyuta, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions. Karishye vachanam tava. That is what we should be all going back with that determination. Do what Krishna wants us to do. Nasto moha. Illusion is destroyed. Smrutir labha. My memory is restored. What is this memory? The memory is we are all part and parcels of Krishna. We are not independent. It's like saying, I have a right hand, I have a left hand, I have a right leg, I have a left leg. Yes, I can move my hand freely. I can move my legs freely. But overall, if you see, this freedom is constrained by the body. Similarly, I may be anyone in this world as Jivatma. I am part and parcel of Krishna. So we should establish our memory back, restore our memory back, saying that, oh Krishna, I will not do anything other than what you are telling me because I am part of you. What prasadhan, by your mercy. We are all in this class today because of his mercy. We have spent 38 months going through this. I have a job. I am not the greatest expert on Gita. I am just like one of you, but I have made that attempt because Krishna's mercy. If you attempt, Krishna will bless you. Maya Jita, O infallible one. Titosmi, now I am properly situated, stable and firm. Ratasandeha, all my doubts are gone away. Karishye vachanam tava, I will do your will. And that is what we should be telling Krishna. I will do your will. Achyuta, I will share two. He has used Achyuta only 3 times in Gita. First was, that is the first time when Arjuna opened his mouth to Krishna. He says, Arjuna vacha senayor ubayor madhye ratam sthapaya me Achyuta yavad etan nirikshase ham. So he says, Arjuna, oh infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So in the first chapter, he said, Achyuta. Then in 11.42, he apologizes to Krishna. He says, I have always thought of you as my friend. I may be wrong. I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. All of us will make this mistake. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, he says, Eko tha vapi achyuta tat samaksham. So, O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. So we must we talk to Krishna, interact with Krishna, treat him as our friend. All that is fine. But remember, he is the Supreme Lord. And if he says something, that is the ultimate. There is nothing beyond that. That is the absolute truth. That is why he is using the word Achyuta. Now, what is our realization after reading this verse? Now, I have tried to summarize this in a simple equation. Knowledge, we all understand. Gnanam. Let's add service to knowledge. When I say serve, you have to remove your ego. Don't say, I am so and so, Krishna. How do you expect me to fast for you? I have got the best of things at my home. You expect me to fast for you every 15 days? No. That is when you're talking with your ego. You should say, oh, Krishna, I will definitely perform a fast because I am part of you. That is service. Then you will get the same realization like what Arjuna got. All of us are Arjunas in this world. It is just that we must do these two things. Here, apply, then you'll get realization. Now, we don't have the poetic ability of Arjuna. This is the verse where Krishna, he praises Krishna. You must have tears in his eyes when Arjuna says, Arjuna Vacha, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. That is how Arjuna glorified Krishna. All of us should glorify Krishna in our own words, in our own way. He said, "You are the supreme personality of Godhead." We all must agree. At the ultimate abode, he says, the purest, absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. Why did Arjuna say this? It is for all of us. If we can't write this down after having read Gita, at least we can quote what Arjuna has said and glorify the Lord. So this is knowledge. Then comes service. Now, many people have this confusion. What do I do as service to Krishna? Please tell me. So you can, when you chant his names, whenever you forget about you and tell Krishna, that is service. As simple as that. Let us see what is that chant. So Santosh is dropping out. No problem, Santosh. Carry on. Careful listening to Gita is also service. What happened? What is it equal to? Kariche vachanam tava. I will do your will. That is self-realization. What does it take to reach self-realization? Glorify Krishna. Do not think he is just an ordinary person like you and me. He may have appeared as cowherd boy, but he is the Supreme Lord. For us, how do we apply this to us? We are not Arjuna in terms of his capability, his devotion, his surrender. We are all novices, infants. So we should be inquisitive, read and learn Gita. Try to be submissive. Submit yourself to Krishna's will. That is consciousness. If you are able to do this, then you will be able to say, I will do your will. Even in Bible, Jesus says, let thy will be done, not mine. So Jesus said, I will do his will, not mine. But here, Arjuna is saying, I will do your will. In the sense, I will implement your will. That is Karishe Vachanam Tava. That is self-realization. So, what is the end result of Gita is we should all try to transform ourselves. And transformation is not like, I'm a black looking person, I become white, or I'm a white looking person becoming black. That is not transformation. That is physical transformation. Mental transformation is I'm at peace. You may have a higher education than me. You may be a richer person than me. You may have the best of things in the world. I may not have. Please, by reading Gita, you will have more happiness than any other material thing that you can get in this world. That is what is realization. Be happy, contented, because you are with Krishna. Going further. Now we have finished realization of Arjuna. We are coming to realization of Sanjaya. Now Sanjaya is not part of the battle. He is with Dhritarashtra, but he is gifted to watch the entire war. So let's see what he has to say. Sanjay Uvacha iti aham vasudevasya artasya cha mahatmanah samvadam imam ashrausham adbhutam romaharshanam. He says, I have heard this wonderful conversation of Krishna and Arjuna. And what is his feelings? We should also, after reading Gita, have the same feelings as Sanjaya. Sanjaya said, first, have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna? And how wonderful is it that the message that my hair is standing on end. So when we hear this conversation, when we read this conversation, we must also have the same feeling. Adbhutam Romaharshanam. Now, why actually Vyasdeva offered this Divya Chakshu to Dhritarashtra. But Dhritarashtra said, no, please give it to my secretary Sanjaya, because anyway I am born blind. So Sanjaya will watch this war and tell me everything what is happening. That is how Sanjaya came into the picture. And what was the promise of Vyasa was not only he could see, he could hear the war, not being actually present in the war, and nobody could kill him or injure him. That was also the protection given by Vyasraya. That was how Sanjaya was able to see the entire thing. So apart from Arjuna, Sanjaya also witnessed the Vishwarupa Darshana. So he got all the benefit that Arjuna got. Let's read the verse line by line. Iti aham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatmanaha. Both Krishna and Arjuna are Mahatmas, great souls. So this conversation happened between Vasudeva and Partha. Samvadam imam ashrausham. I have heard this samvad. We are also hearing the samvad by reading and listening. Adbhutam. It is wonderful. Now these are the words of Sanjaya. It is extraordinary, amazing. Romaharshanam. As a result, hair on my body are standing up. That should be the kind of surrender. Then we will also get the same joy. Now, the beauty is I am giving you a comparison here. Here, Sanjaya said, Adbhutam Romaharshanam. My hair is standing on end out of joy. I am thrilled, overjoyed. In the first chapter, 29th verse, Arjuna uses the same words. He says, Roma Harshasa Jayate. But that time he had done that. His hair was standing on end because of fear. So joy and fear. Both of them evoke the same reaction. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. So from that position, when Arjuna said, my hair is standing on end, we have seen Sanjaya who says, my hair is standing on end out of joy and bliss. So we should enjoy the same joy and bliss after going through these verses. Going further. Now Sanjaya tells about his spiritual master. He says, Vyasa Pratadat Shrutavan Etad Guhyam Aham Param Yogam Yogeshwarat Krishnat Sakshat Katayata Swayam. By mercy of Vyasa, I have heard. So, if possible, we also should take this help of a teacher who comes from the parampara, who can let us know the inner essence of Gita. Translation. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talk directly from the master of all mysticism. He is Yoga Ishwara. He is the Ishwara of Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. He is the supreme yoga master. Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. So when we read, Krishna is speaking to us personally. Vyasa Prasada Shrutavan. By the mercy of Srila Vyasadeva, I have heard, because he gave me the Divya Chakshu. Etad Guhyam, top secret knowledge. Aham Param. This great yoga, wisdom by which one can unite with the Supreme Lord. So, what is Gita teaching us is what is service is you try to surrender to Krishna, go back to him. What is yoga? Yoga is establishing the connection between you and the Lord. Yogam Yogeshwara Krishna, from the master of all mysticism, Krishna. Sakshat, directly. Tatayata Swayam, he has spoken himself. When we read Gita, we are reading what Krishna has spoken to Arjuna. I think can I request all of you to go on mute?
Yeah, and I
Thank
had
you.
gone out, so
Oh, no problem, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, 18.76, the next verse. This verse, the next verse is, one first line and second line are similar. Rajan samsrutya samvadam imam adbhutam keshavarjanayo punyam harshyami cha muhurmuhu. Translation. I repeatedly recall this wonderful sacred conversation and I take pleasure being thrilled. We must also have the same emotions when we go through Gita. It says, O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Rajan Dhritarashtra, O King, Samshrutya, Samshrutya. remembering again and again. So it is not enough that we just listen to Gita once and then forget about it. Try to remember again and again. Try to reflect. Try to understand the deeper meaning. Why is it taking some time for me to understand? That reflection will give you the pleasure of learning. Samvadam imam adbhutam. This is wondrous, holy, sacred dialogue. Keshwarjanayo punyam, purifying, auspicious, sacred conversation. Hashyami, thrilled, cha muhur muhu. I am taking pleasure in this conversation every moment by recalling, by remembering. That is the joy of listening to Krishna and Arjuna's Samvada in form of Gita. This verse again it says, Tacha samsrutya rupam ati adbhutam hare vismayo me mahan rajan prashyami cha punha punha. So in the last verse it said prashyami cha muhur muhu. Here it is saying prashyami cha punha punha. Same meaning. O King, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Satya samsrutya is, O King, as I remember. Rupamati adbhutam hare, this Vishwarupa. He's remembering the Vishwarupa that we studied in the 11th chapter. So it's whenever we go through a big course like Gita, and if someone asks, what is the most important thing? If Sanjaya is asked, Sanjaya is saying, I remember Vishwarupa Darshana. I can't forget it. That is the extraordinary form of Krishna who he has shown to all of us. Vismayo me, I am immensely astonished, wonderstruck, O Mahan Rajan, O King. Hrishyame to delight. I am jubilant, rejoiceful, blissful, punha punha, again and again. We should also experience the same joy. And here, if you may be wondering, why is Sanjay again and saying, I'm happy, even though his student, Dhritarashtra, did not understand anything of Gita. Because, see, now Krishna spoke to Arjuna. Arjuna said, Karishe Vachanam Tava, I am completely transformed. The same Gita, through Sanjaya, was spoken to Dhritarashtra. But Dhritarashtra remained in the same status as he was. And Sanjaya did not get disappointed. He understood that Dhritarashtra is not going to change himself. But so when we try to teach Gita, and if it by for whatever reasons the opposite person is not able to understand, you should not feel, oh well, I have not done a good job. No. What can Sanjaya do? Sanjaya can explain, describe, and say, oh king, this is what has happened. This is what is happening. But if Dhritarashtra says and remains firm, adamant, oh, I will not understand, I will not change, I will continue to love Duryodhana, and I want him to win, then it is his choice. We must not get disturbed, or you should not feel low because of the lack of response of transformation from the opposite person. We should leave it to Krishna. The joy of speaking Gita is the joy of speaking Gita. And this verse tells us, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshayanti te gnanam gnanina tattvadarshina. Inquire from him submissively. If there is one word which we must imprint in our memory is, ego has no role for a person learning Gita. You must be as humble as you can. Then only you can render service to Krishna. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. And what is seen in Gita is the eternal truth. Last verse, and now all of us are striving in this world, working very hard. We want our family to prosper. We want to do well in our jobs. We want to be blessed with happiness, joy, long life. All that will come to you if you do what Krishna has said and what Sanjaya is describing. He says, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Nothing here is of doubt. Amazing combination of Krishna and Arjuna. Now, this is applying equally to Arjuna and equally to all of us. He says, wherever there is Krishna, Krishna is in Gita, the master of all mystics. And wherever there is Arjuna, so wherever we are present, Arjuna was in the battlefield in that episode, but Gita is eternal, the message is eternal, we are eternal, and we are reading this eternal knowledge. Arjuna, the supreme archer. We are all supreme archers in our own way, fighting our own battle. There will also certainly be opulence. That is what we all want. Sri is opulence. Vijayo, victory. Putir, extraordinary power and morality. That is my opinion. So what is the essence of life? To lead a happy life, to be joyous, to be blissful, to be knowledgeable. Krishna, Sanjaya says, just by associating yourself with Krishna's message, you will get all of this. Yatra, wherever Yogeshwara Krishna, there is Krishna, master of all mystic, there is power. He is the master of all mystic power. That is why he is called Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. He is the sum and substance of Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. He is Yoga's Ishwara. Yatra, wherever. Partho Dhanurdaraha. Arjuna has raised his bow. If we have to apply it to ourselves, our bow is surrender to Krishna, listening to what Krishna is telling us. That is our way of lifting our bow and arrow. Tatra, there will be Sri, opulence. All of us want wealth. Krishna, Sanjay is saying, you will get opulence, not just wealth. You will get health, you will get wealth. Vijayo, victory. Bhuter, extraordinary power. What else do you want? Power is not external. Please understand. Power is internal. How contented you are, how happy you are, is completely in your hands. Dhruva. And it is not for this month, next month. It is eternal, fully, perfectly, changelessly, completely. I can't find any more words in English. Mithir, morality, justice, fairness will exist in all our lives, including Arjuna. Matir Mama, that is my opinion. This is what Sanjay is talking as a student of having learned and listened to Gita. And that is the message for all of us. With this, we come to the end of Gita. 700 verses are over. Now, if you are all okay, I can show you this video. I have two options. One is go through the complete 18th chapter or only show you the 12 verses that we studied today. What do you think is your choice?
What is the time for all the 18 verses?
It will take 15 minutes.
Okay, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಕೇಳು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್.
One second. How many people are there? Are you all happy?
We are on time. I think you can
Yes,
relay the.
Prabhuji, please. Yes, Prabhuji, please play the whole 18 chapters.
Okay. Right. Your wish is my command. Here we go.
Chapter 18, Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, Tyag, and of the renounced order of life, Sannyas, O killer of the Keshi demon, master of the senses. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life, sannyas. And giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation, tyag. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty. Yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. O best of the Bharatas, now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds: acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pritha. That is my final opinion. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done, and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. The intelligent renouncer, situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the supersoul. These are the 5 factors of action. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the 3 factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer are the 3 constituents of action. According to the 3 different modes of material nature, there are 3 kinds of knowledge, action, and performer of action. Now hear of them from me. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity, you should understand to be in the mode of passion. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruit of results, is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action performed with great effort, by one seeking to gratify his desires, and enacted from a sense of false ego, is called action in the mode of passion. That action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunctions, and without concern for future bondage, or for violence or distress caused to others, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the Scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance. O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appear like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. There is no being existing, either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, which is freed from these modes born of material nature. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes, O chastiser of the enemy. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness, these are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras there is labor and service to others. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings, and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as a fire is covered by smoke. Therefore one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. One who is self-controlled and unattached, and who disregards all material enjoyments, can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance, and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful, such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal imperishable abode by my grace. In all activities just depend upon me, and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. If you do not act according to my direction, and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. O scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme eternal abode. Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Abandon all varieties of religion, and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere, or devoted, or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Sanjaya said, Thus I have heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who is speaking personally to Arjuna. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment. O king, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.
Thank you. We have come to the end of Gita. Thank you very much. In case you have any questions, please feel free.
Actually, as you have been telling right from the beginning, karma, a person to be deserved and entitled, these three things are paramount in this whole episode. We have a karma, you have a karma to preach Bhagavad Gita, and we have been entitled or deserved to hear that. So we are blessed. All of us are blessed in this context, and I am really happy, and thank you very much for everything.
Thank you very much, Jai Raman.
Thanks a lot. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Chaitanya. Please tell me.
First of all, congratulations on completing your journey. I'm sure it was a journey for you. And for whatever it is worth, whatever little knowledge we have been able to gain as maybe Ajnanis, you have introduced us to the essence of Gita. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Whatever good words you have said, I'll pass it on to Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anyone else wants to say something?
Yeah, I think it was great. I think continuous 38 months, actually, we miss a lot. But it was really a great perseverance from you. And I think definitely the courage and